The drum major for today's concert is musician First Class David Drescher. And conducting Navy Band Great Lakes is chief musician Thomas Horner. Another acknowledgement, please, for their outstanding performance this morning. The parade of graduates is underway and will arrive at Midway Ceremonial Hall in just a few moments. Please make sure that all personal items are clear of the aisles and the drill deck. Guests in the balcony are reminded that standing along the rail is prohibited for the remainder of the ceremony. We know that your sailors will have many wonderful and amazing stories for you about their boot camp experience. However, at this time, we offer some video evidence that reveals our side of the story.
Good morning, and welcome to Recruit Training Command and today's graduation. We are very excited to have all the family and friends of our sailors both here and online. You are about to watch the formal transition from recruit to full-fledged sailor in the world's greatest and most powerful Navy. As we honor the accomplishments of America's best and brightest, we must also honor the family and friends of these new sailors. Without you and your steadfast support and devotion, this day would not be possible. Throughout our nation's history, the secret to our military success has always been the military families that stand the watch at home and always support their sailors. The Department of Defense has made the determination that the men and women graduating today have what it takes, and that's thanks to you. So on behalf of the United States Navy, thank you, and welcome to the Navy family. This celebration is not just for our graduates, but for you as well. Take special pride in what your sailor has accomplished and the tremendous journey they are about to embark on. They are our future. Thank you again for your support and all you do to help keep America safe and strong. Enjoy the ceremony, and again, welcome to our Navy family.
As the Parade of Graduates approaches, we salute the states and territories whose sons and daughters will graduate today.
Delaware,
Pennsylvania, New Jersey,
Georgia,
Connecticut, Massachusetts,
Maryland,
South Carolina,
New Hampshire,
Virginia, New York,
North Carolina, Rhode Island, Vermont,
Kentucky, Tennessee,
Ohio, Louisiana, Indiana,
Mississippi,
Illinois,
Alabama, Wisconsin,
California, Minnesota,
Oregon, Kansas,
West Virginia, Nevada,
Nebraska,
Colorado, North Dakota,
South Dakota,
Montana,
Washington,
Idaho,
Wyoming, Utah,
Oklahoma,
New Mexico, Arizona,
Alaska,
Hawaii, District of Columbia,
Puerto Rico,
Guam,
American Samoa,
Northern Mariana Islands,
Virgin Islands,
state flags, order, arms.
And now we invite you to join the staff of Recruit Training Command in welcoming the graduating divisions with their applause as they enter Midway Ceremonial Hall and are announced in the following order.
Please welcome Division 001. Today's graduating performing unit is Division 901. Division 901 provides the Arrival Honor Staff, Honor Guard, the Recruit Review Commander, Adjutant, and graduates who provide support assignment for today's ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated. Thank you. Divisions, right, face. Section leaders, fall out and collect outer garments. Divisions, counter, march. Divisions, halt.
Prepare for ready, front, left, face, at close interval, dress right, dress. Ready, front, right, face, parade, rest.
May I have your attention, please? For the remainder of the review, no one will be permitted to pass in front of the review stand, and we ask this as a courtesy to our reviewing officer. Photography is certainly encouraged, but we ask that you remain seated and off the drill deck. The photographers you will see on deck throughout the review are the official photographers of Recruit Training Command.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm Lieutenant Simon Bennett, Recruit Training Command's Drill Division Officer. I would like to welcome you to today's Pass and Review. Today you will see 12 divisions comprised of 862 sailors participate in their graduation ceremony and soon join the most powerful Navy in the world. Please draw your attention to the unit positioned at center deck. There is the review commander and staff. The review commander is responsible for conducting the graduation ceremony. Today's review commander is Seaman Recruit Ethan Engelbrecht from San Antonio, Texas. Let's give him a hand, folks. Performing today is the Triple Threat Unit on their 6th week of training, State Flags Unit on their 7th week, and graduating as the Staff Unit on their 8th and final week of training. These units are comprised entirely of recruits. During their night of arrival, all recruits are placed in divisions of 88 personnel and assigned their division commanders. Recruit division commanders form the backbone of recruit training and are the key individuals in the life of every recruit. Division commanders must serve as counselors, disciplinarians, administrators, and military leaders. Above all, they must show themselves as outstanding examples of military bearing, appearance, attitude, and behavior. Each division also has a recruit chief petty officer. This is a senior recruit who supervises the divisional staff positions in the absence of their division commanders. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce the graduating divisions, their division commanders, and recruit chief petty officers. As I introduce each division, they will raise the competitive flags that they've earned throughout their training. As I introduce each recruit chief petty officer, the flag representing their home state will also be raised. Please hold your applause until all introductions have been completed. I will be starting from their right. Division 001. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Reginald Swift. Petty Officer First Class Dolores Everett. Petty Officer Second Class Kevin Reyes. And the Recruit Chief Petty Officer Seaman Michael Villa from Chino, California. Division 002. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Richard Smith. Petty Officer First Class Julio Gordon. Petty Officer Second Class Portia Chancellor. And the Recruit Chief Petty Officer Seaman Wesley Ford from Mulvaney, Kansas. Division 003. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Sean Huey. Petty Officer First Class Andrew Bates. Petty Officer Second Class Joseph Hensela. And the Recruit Chief Petty Officer Seaman Luke Campbell from Atlanta, Georgia. Division 004. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Henry Parker. Petty Officer First Class Ahmad Lyons. Petty Officer Second Class John Beach. And the Recruit Chief Petty Officer Seaman David Bledsoe from Lindale, Texas. Division 005. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Travis Bender. Petty Officer First Class Stephanie Conception. Petty Officer Second Class Christopher Jimenez. And the Recruit Chief Petty Officer Seaman Nicholas Brandenburg from Lexington, Kentucky. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Benjamin Thacey. Petty Officer First Class Allison Pichon. Petty Officer First Class Jason Willink. And their Recruit Chief Petty Officer Seaman Lucas Kaling from Kenosha, Wisconsin. Division 007. Commanded by Petty Officer First Class Daniel Mitchell. Petty Officer First Class Christopher Green. Petty Officer Second Class Michelle Ramiro. And their recruit chief petty officer, Seaman Kelsey Hitz from Overland Park, Kansas. Division 008. Commanded by Petty Officer First Class Francisco Rivas. Petty Officer First Class Estefani Ramos. Petty Officer Second Class Christopher Crawford. And their recruit chief petty officer, Seaman Logan Witt from Riverview, Florida. Division 009. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Justin Chisholm. Petty Officer First Class Daniel Petrillo. Petty Officer Second Class Tasha Cruz. And their recruit chief petty officer, Seaman Jason Yee from Sacramento, California. Division 010. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer Herlin Cortez. Petty Officer First Class Anthony Rivera. Petty Officer Second Class Abraham Vasquez. And their recruit chief petty officer is Seaman Tyler Picar from Sulphur, Louisiana. Division 801. Commanded by Petty Officer First Class Rich Kleber. Petty Officer First Class Trevor Mink. Petty Officer First Class Joseph Hickey Hall. And their recruit chief petty officer, Seaman Ethan Youngblood from Panama City, Florida. Division 901. Commanded by Chief Petty Officer David Anderson. Petty Officer First Class Brent Gray. Petty Officer First Class Patrick Holmes. And their recruit chief petty officer, Seaman Ethan Engelbrecht from San Antonio, Texas. On behalf of the commanding officer and staff of Recruit Training Command, we congratulate these division commanders and recruit chief petty officers on a job well done. In a moment, you will see the ceremonial side boys, bosun, and honor guard take their places for arrival honors. This time-honored tradition is our formal greeting to this morning's reviewing officer. When requested by the announcer, please stand for the arrival honors, marching on of the colors, national anthem, and the invocation. As a reminder, military guests shall remain covered throughout the entire graduation ceremony. And ladies and gentlemen, one final note. As befitting the importance of this occasion, our ceremony is conducted in a formal manner. However, we do encourage you to participate in today's graduation ceremony by letting your applause show your sailors just how proud of them you are. Once again, welcome aboard.
Divisions! Attention!
Will the guests please rise and remain standing for the arrival of the official party? Recruit Training Command arriving.
Order! Arms!
Naval Service Training Command arriving.
Order! Arms!
United States Fleet Forces Command arriving.
Order! Arms!
The guests may be seated.
Good morning, Admiral. I only got to say my for inspection, sir. Inspection! Arms! Color guard! Parade the colors!
Will the guests please rise? Present arms.
Order! Arms! Retire the colors!
Present arms.
Order. Arms.
Chaplain Khan will offer this morning's invocation.
Let us pray.
Yes,
guests may be seated.
Veterans Day is a special holiday that honors all those who have served and serve in the United States military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard. As we approach the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I, please allow me to give a very brief history lesson. World War I was fought by many countries for 5 years, beginning 100 years ago in 1914 and ending in 1918. The United States fought in this war from 1917 to 1918. In 1918, at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, that is 11 o'clock on November 11th, the warring countries signed an agreement called an armistice that brought an end to the war. The people at the time very wishfully thought that this would be the war to end all wars. The tradition of setting a day aside to remember the veterans of America dates back to the First World War. This war was a costly and bitter one. America lost over 116,000 of its citizens at sea, in the trenches, and in the air in Europe. In the years since, President Woodrow Wilson made November 11th a holiday called Armistice Day to honor those who died in World War I. Since then, the scope of the observance has changed to Veterans Day. From a day set aside to remember the dead from one war to a day in which American veterans from all wars, as well as those who have served in times of peace, can be remembered. This nation is what it is today because of the efforts and sacrifices of its veterans. It has been the contributions of America's citizen soldiers which have convinced potential adversaries throughout history that we are serious about our responsibility to defend our nation and its system of values. The celebration of Veterans Day is a vivid reminder of the price which we have paid for the liberty that we enjoy. It is also an appropriate time to reflect on the burden we all share in ensuring our children and their children enjoy the same liberty. Right now, as we gather here today, thousands of soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, and Coast Guardmen around the world protect America. Our thoughts turn today to those service members who are deployed around the world, around the clock, protecting and defending America. For those veterans here today, please share your story with others. Let people know what you have done so that they can see the many faces of the military and appreciate the personal service of their neighbors. If you are not a veteran, find someone in your life that is a vet and ask them about their service, or simply say, thank you. The more we talk about the impact military service has on our lives, the better able we are to hold it up as an example of excellence. To all the veterans here today, I sincerely thank you for your service. I share the pride you feel in being able to see the way you have served in the greatest military in the world. Thank you all for choosing to honor veterans today and show your support of our heroes, past and present. To conclude our celebration, Navy Band Great Lakes will perform the Armed Forces Medley. When your service song is played, please stand to recognize your and your family's sacrifice to our country.
United States Army. United States Marine Corps. United States Air Force. United States Coast Guard. United States Navy. At this point, the commanding officer would issue orders and instructions to the unit commanders. Then the unit commanders would face about and relay that information to their divisions. Today's events show how orders are passed through the chain of command.
Divisions, report. Very well. 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 Mission 901, Prisoner Campbell, sir. Very well. All divisions present or accounted for, sir. Very well. The sailors, creed. morning, Captain. I present the graduating divisions. Request permission to commence the review.
Very well. Commence the review.
Aye, sir.
Parade! Rest!
Sound off! winners reporting, sir.
Very well. Good morning. I'm Captain Eric Thors, Commanding Officer of Recruit Training Command. I welcome you to this morning's recruit graduation ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where our Navy heritage meets the future, and where these young men and women enter the profession of arms. Welcome to our reviewing officer, Admiral Christopher Grady, Commander, U.S. Fleet Forces Command, and Rear Admiral Mike Bernacchi, Commander, Naval Service Training Command. I would also like to welcome and recognize the veterans in our audience for their service to our country. Division 901 graduates today. They are the staff unit, providing arrival honor staff, honor guard, recruit review commander, adjutant, and support for the ceremony. Please join me in giving them a hand for their outstanding performances. This Sunday, November 11th, will mark the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I and the start of setting aside a day to honor and remember all American veterans who have served in the military. Would our veterans please stand? I am pleased to welcome the families and friends of these graduates who have come here today to share this significant milestone with our newest sailors. The men and women of Recruit Training Command are dedicated to providing the United States Navy basically trained, physically fit, and sharply disciplined sailors like those whom you see before you. They and others like them serve as the bedrock of our naval forces. They give our Navy its combat edge, and they enable us to help keep this nation secure. These sailors have successfully completed 8 weeks of demanding recruit training. They have recently demonstrated their knowledge and their courage during battle stations. They have earned the right to wear the uniform recognized around the world as a symbol of freedom. This training group is ready to graduate and serve in the world's most powerful Navy. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you 862 of the newest and sharpest sailors in the United States Navy.
Recruit Training Command's competitive system among individual recruits and divisions promotes teamwork, attention to detail, and pride in accomplishment. Divisions performing above standards throughout their training are awarded recognition flags in the following mission areas: academic achievement, military drill, compartment readiness, and physical fitness. These flags are carried as a visible symbol of the division's success. Each flag indicates that your sailors, individually and as teams, met performance standards in one or more mission areas.
Forward! Rest!
Admiral Grady will now present this week's individual awards, and he will be joined on the drill deck by our commanding officer, Captain Thors, and Commander, Naval Service Training Command, Rear Admiral Bernacchi. It is our pleasure to recognize the review commander for today's ceremony, Airman Ethan Engelbrecht, Division 901 from San Antonio, Texas. Throughout his training, Airman Engelbrecht has exhibited great pride in the naval service and has consistently demonstrated his potential as an effective leader. He has maintained a standard of personal appearance and an excellent display of military bearing and command voice. Congratulations on your outstanding achievement. Well done, sailor. For achieving the highest overall academic score in recruit training, Seaman Apprentice Alan Lee, Division 005 from Penn Laird, Virginia, has earned the Academic Excellence Award, which is sponsored by the Lake Defiance chapter of the Illinois Society of the Sons of the American Revolution. Seaman Apprentice Lee receives a letter of commendation from the commanding officer. Well done, sailor. For having displayed extraordinary qualities best expressing the American spirit of honor, initiative, and loyalty, Airman Patricia Stark, Division 007 from Santa Cruz, California, is awarded the Navy League Award, which is sponsored by the Navy League of the United States. Airman Stark is presented with a commemorative plaque and a letter of commendation from the commanding officer. Well done, sailor. Seaman Megan Laban, Division 009 from Gainesville, Virginia, is the winner of the United Service Organization Award for best exemplifying the spirit and intent of the word shipmate. Seaman Laban is given a commemorative plaque from the United Service Organization. Well done, sailor. Seaman Sean Powers, Division 006 from Boise, Idaho, is the recipient of the Military Order of the World Wars Award of Merit. This award is presented for meritorious performance during recruit training. Seaman Powers is presented with a commemorative plaque from the Military Order of the World Wars. Well done, sailor. The Military Officers Association Leadership Award is presented to Seaman Apprentice Brent White, Division 901 from Willoughby, Ohio, for discriminating exceptional tenacity and professionalism. Seaman Apprentice White is awarded a letter of commendation from our commanding officer. Well done, sailor. Seaman Apprentice Branson Reynolds, Division 006 from Bend, Oregon, is the recipient of the Navy Club of the United States of America Military Excellence Award for best exemplifying the qualities of enthusiasm, devotion to duty, military bearing, and teamwork. This award places him at the pinnacle of today's newest sailors. He is awarded a flag letter of commendation. Seaman Apprentice Reynolds, the staff of Recruit Training Command salutes you as the finest of this group of graduates. Well done, sailor.
Divisions! Attention!
It is appropriate to recognize such outstanding individual accomplishments by these sailors with a round of 3 cheers. The adjutant will lead all graduating divisions in 3 cheers for this morning's award winners.
Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip!
I have the distinct pleasure this morning of introducing our reviewing officer, Admiral Christopher Grady. As commander at U.S. Fleet Forces Command, he and his team certify and provide combat-ready Navy forces to combatant commanders that are capable of conducting prompt, sustained, naval, joint, and combined operations in support of U.S. national interests. He is a graduate of the University of Notre Dame and was commissioned an ensign through the Naval Reserve Officers Training Corps program. He holds a Master of Arts in National Security Studies from Georgetown University and a Master of Science in National Security Affairs from the National War College. Among his flag assignments are Commander, U.S. Pacific Fleet, Commander, Carrier Strike Group 1, Commander, Naval Surface Force Atlantic. At sea, Admiral Grady has served as Commanding Officer, Mine Countermeasures, Rotational Crew Echo, USS Chief, commanded USS Cole, Commander, Destroyer Squadron 22, as Sea Combat Commander for the Theodore Roosevelt Carrier Strike Group in support of Operations Enduring and Iraqi Freedom. Ashore, Admiral has served as Executive Assistant to the Navy's Chief of Legislative Affairs, Deputy Executive Secretary of the National Security Council, Executive Assistant to the Chief of Naval Operations. In his most recent assignment, he was Commander, U.S. 6th Fleet and Commander, Naval Striking and Support Forces NATO, while simultaneously serving as the Deputy Commander, U.S. Naval Forces, Europe and Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a warm Recruit Training Command welcome to an outstanding sailor, Admiral Christopher Grady.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to extend a very special welcome to our recruits, families, and loved ones. I know that it means a lot to these new sailors that you are here and have traveled far for this very important milestone. We're gathered here to celebrate this accomplishment and to welcome these recruits as sailors in the world's finest Navy. Over the last 8 weeks, they have gone through a transformation from civilians to sailors. They have proven themselves to be disciplined, dedicated, physically, mentally, and spiritually fit and trained in the sailor basics. They are now ready for follow-on training in the fleet. Thank you to the RTC staff for your continued commitment and dedication. Well done, Bravo Zulu, and take pride in the fact that you are shaping our Navy's future. Now, to our graduates, America is safe and free because of the service and sacrifice of those in the profession of arms like you, who have taken the torch of liberty from one generation to the next. You are the real 1%, the 1% of Americans who choose to serve. You made a decision to join the profession of arms and become part of something bigger than yourselves, a decision that defines true citizenship. And you choose to serve during a time when your nation most needs you. The world around us is becoming increasingly complex. We now witness challenges to the international order that has long fostered our prosperity. We are in great power competition. Right now, in this maritime era, your Navy is critical to securing America's place in the world. In response, your Navy is positioned forward where it matters, when it matters, as it always has been and always will be, to shape events and protect America's interests. Sailors are on watch around the world 24/7, 365 in both peace and war. We are America's varsity away team. We are America's global team. We defend far forward, projecting power for peace, and make no mistake, if necessary, we sail ready to fight and win. Back to the families, you played an integral part in their development. You shaped your recruit into someone who wanted to stand up and serve. Through this 8-week process, you supported them. And I often say that family readiness equals operational readiness, and it is true. Our sailors are not able to serve without a stable foundation at home. Thank you for the support that you have given to your sailor, your Navy, and your nation. I know you are proud of their willingness to serve, but I also understand your concern for their well-being as a sailor in these dynamic and challenging times. I'm a Navy parent too. I get it. My own son serves in our Navy right now. In response to this, I ask you, who better to stand up against our adversaries than our very best? Who better to defend our way of life than our own? You raise these talented young men and women with a strong foundation of honor, courage, and commitment, the core values upon which our strength is based and victory is achieved. And because of this strong base that you provided, I can think of no better to protect our nation and our freedom. And the Navy and the nation thank you and honor you. To the Navy's newest sailors, I say congratulations. You will forever cherish this important milestone and take pride in what you have accomplished. But remember, the Navy will absolutely need your best in this environment of great power competition. Remember that you don't work for Google, you don't work for Amazon or Walmart. You are a warrior. You must adopt the aggressive fighting spirit of the Navy, taking to the fight to our enemies, always seizing the initiative. You must develop and maintain the toughness to take a hit and keep going, to never give up the ship. You must fight firm in the knowledge that we gave an oath in support of the Constitution and the valued ideals which it represents, always acting with the highest degree of integrity and honor. You must aggressively pursue your professional development, a pursuit of mastery as you are forged by the sea, from apprentice to journeyman to supervisor to master, always holding yourself accountable for the quality of your work. And you must treat every day as if it were the last day of peace, to prepare yourselves to be resolute, ready, and lethal on arrival. And finally, you must always keep your cutlass sharp. May God bless these sailors who, as General Douglas MacArthur once observed, choose to stand between our enemies and all that we love and hold sacred. May God bless their families and other loved ones who support them, and may God bless the United States Navy and the United States of America. Congratulations again. Thank you very much.
Admiral Grady will now receive the salute of the graduating divisions, and he will be joined on the drill deck by our commanding officer, Captain Thors. Please remain seated until your graduates have been placed on liberty. Flags. Post. Section leaders, fall out and retrieve outer garments. Midway Ceremonial Drill Hall will be closing at the conclusion of today's graduation. Please check the area around you to ensure you have all your possessions. For those families with strollers, please retrieve them as you exit the drill hall. Thanks again to each and every one of you for joining us on this most memorable of Navy days. And without further delay, now hear this, now hear this. Liberty call, fall out.